Yes, I'll be there. I was so excited to do this.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome.
You guys, welcome with
appreciate
time. You're listening to the voice of Gregory Hall. He's our guest today on Sessions with Mary Jane. Welcome back and welcome Gregory Hall.
Thank you for having me. I am very nice right now. very chill, very even keel.
Confirmed,
yes.
he is nice and he is even keeled.
Not odd keeled.
No.
Not any other kind of keeled.
Not Steven keeled. Steven Keeled sounds like a guy that you went to middle school with. So, we feel the same way. Like we're like, because like this is like one of the best parts of the week. Because like we all have like side shit we're doing. We all have work we're doing. Before we started recording, we were kind of talking about like the like toxicity of like hustle culture, so we'll probably get into that a little bit too. But like, it's just nice to have something like this where it's like, like you're doing it because it's like a thing you plan out, but it's like the best way to like hang out though, you know. And that's one of the beautiful things about smoking weed or whatever way you take weed.
Yeah, it's a pause in your week.
Yeah, it's a very communal thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't like you think about like you see people outside and they're smoking like a cigarette. No one takes a drag from a cigarette and goes, "You want to hit this?"
Yeah.
No, like no one does that. But you spark up a joint or a blunt, you're like, you look like you had a rough week. Mm-hmm. Yes. You know what I mean? And this conversation and like here's the thing that always like kills me with weed, like when the whole reefer madness thing. Have you guys ever seen that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, first of all, never in my long-legged life have I ever seen anybody pissed off of weed. Like I've never like, okay, paranoid. Maybe that particular strain was not good for them. Or agreed with them, but I'm like, no one's like, you've never smoked a joint and then punched somebody in the mouth.
Right.
Yeah, I think that aggression's from the person, not the drug.
Yeah.
I think that's a personality thing that person has to deal with. But I mean, I do respect people who don't partake.
Yeah, totally.
Of course, they have their reasons, because of course, like I've had edibles or smoked, and there were different strains. Like I had different reactions, and I was just like, I don't like how I feel right now. Like I don't like what this is making me. Like I don't like how this is making me feel. I'm like, yes. In a sense, or in some way, you are in control of your emotions, or but like certain things, you're not. Your mind's just gonna go to a place, or you're like physically just like sometimes it just makes me really anxious, or it makes me like, or I shake a lot. Yeah, it's just like also a physical thing. Have you ever had that, Gregory? Where you've had what's been your bad reaction? Oh,
okay, so this probably was like my worst trip. So this had been maybe, I think almost 2 years now. And my girlfriend she had edible. And she said, listen, you only eat half. But I really did. I only ate half the gummy worm.
Okay. Good. I like how this story's different. Instead of everybody always saying I ate the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, I listened, like... I've surpassed my girlfriend in stonerdom, but she definitely set the bar. Like, she was my.
How early was this in the relationship when this happened? Where she said eat half?
Oh, this was very early. This was like you only maybe like 4 months in.
Wow, yeah. So this is a major moment.
So I ate half. Listen to what she said. So about 20 minutes later, punch to the back of the head. It hit. But I was good. I was just very giggy, all that stuff. She goes, I'll be back. I'm going to go smoke this joint. I said, I'm coming. She goes, are you sure? I'm like, I'm good. You know who you talking to? They call me H&R Huff and Puff. Because I huff, I puff, and I blow that shit out. I really said that. And she looked at me, was like, all right. Go outside, I smoke with her, and get back in. And man, a lot of things happened. Okay, it was a lot going on.
All right, walk us through it.
So, one, I got very nauseous.
Oh.
Very nauseous. She's like, do I need to get you a bucket? And I'm like, I think so.
Ooh.
And then I got real dizzy. And then I got stuck. Couldn't move.
Physically.
Okay. And then I was tripping watching Detective Pikachu.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
But here's the funny part. It was paused on one scene.
Oh my God.
So don't ask me how I knew the rest of the film without really seeing it, and I was that fucked up.
Oh, wow.
I was that messed up.
You had a lot.
Yeah. There was a lot going on.
Also, what you ate was different than what you smoked.
Exactly.
Yeah, that mix of the strain, that's probably
crossing strains.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I finally came down, and once I came down, then I ate like an entire 2-plate meal. Like
that's what I hate about the munchies. That just I can't stop. I cannot stop.
You know what I've noticed? If I smoke a sativa, I'll get like the munchies, but it's like, I'll take a bag of Funyuns.
Yeah.
I'll eat a bag of chips. That indica though, I'm like, okay, yeah, can I get a number 12?
Yeah.
Number 2? Hey, listen, do y'all do that secret menu thing? Because I want you to take a whole apple pie and put it in the blender and then take cookies, right? And then add the french fries on top for the savory.
Oh my God.
That's amazing. Ooh. What a recipe that is.
See, only a fat guy could come up with that recipe.
Yeah, everyone's great because now they all have a recipe for that. What's your go-to munchies restaurant when you like are really getting the munchies? Where you want? What's your desire?
It kind of varies. Okay, so if it's like snacks, I'm the classic stoner Funyuns. Just some of my Funyuns, and I don't know if you know what is that potato chip brand? Hertz or chips?
Hers, right?
Hers,
yes.
Hers chips, the sour cream and onions. Oof. Oh, because it's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know what they sprayed on it, but it's a lot. And it hit different when you got the munchies. And I think far as a meal goes, I like Popeye's, those delectable popcorn shrimps are delicious.
Yeah.
Yes, and those Cajun fries.
Yeah.
Are these the snacks or the meal like an attachment you've had when you first started smoking or partaking or eating, whatever it's partaking in weed? Like, has that been like part of your routine for a while? Yeah,
like the thing is, I think what weed does when you get the munchies, it just intensifies what you already like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
I don't know. I've definitely eaten some wacky shit that have like mixed together that I would not probably find appealing.
But deep down inside, a part of you deep down wanted that flavor. It's just high you to bring it out.
Yeah,
see, the high brings out. See, I believe when you smoke, you're talking to your higher self. So that's your higher self saying like, nah, you really want it. You want to hit this.
And it's usually right.
Yeah, because like one of the things I really do love is like hors d'oeuvre foods, like little hors d'oeuvres, like pigs in blanket and like little pizza rolls and
those little like
chicken fingers,
bread. Yeah, chicken fingers and popcorn shrimp, but also the little bread where they have those little slice of steak on it, and then they put some sour cream and some chive. You ever seen that?
Well, that's some fancy shit right
there. That is fancy.
That's
yeah,
fancy
that's
shit.
Calling way back years ago to a company I used to work for their Christmas parties.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for shrimp cocktail. I see shrimp cocktail, I lose my mind. I get so excited about it.
How do you feel about the stuffed mushrooms?
I don't really like mushrooms in general, so I will eat it if someone's like, oh, this is really good, eat this. It was the same thing with Brussels sprouts. I have to say that Jordan unfortunately couldn't be here because he's at the Miami opening of the joint. So if you're in the Miami area, go check it out because they're opening up and they got a lot of cool shit over there. But Jordan made these Brussels sprouts that like blew my mind, and I always hated Brussels sprouts growing up. But like he made these Brussels sprouts that were so good. Like, and that's the thing is like to like. If you can make someone like a food they didn't like before, that's like a real accomplishment right there. You know?
I usually am a believer that it's not cooked the right way or properly or the way you've liked it.
Probably.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Like it's not like, have you like whatever vegetable or fruit you've had before, you don't like plain, but then it's just like how you spice it.
Yeah, like it's weird. Like when I was a kid, I couldn't stand sweet potatoes. I didn't like them.
Same. Me too.
Didn't like them. And then now, every Thanksgiving, I'm looking for somebody's sweet potato pie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it is weird, but also too, like weed makes everything way better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I had for my birthday, we went to like Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, and I was very, very, very high, and you can tell because my head was like nodding as I was like eating, and that steak was the best steak I ever had. I was like, yo, I want to thank the cow. I want to pray to the cow and say thank you. You was delicious. You died for a good cause.
I mean, even as like I'm a plant-based eater now for 2 years, but even like there's good steak.
Good steak is
there's
good steak.
Filet mignon. There's good filet mignon. There's good like skirt steak. I also just love lobster. I love like there's definitely certain things it's just like it's still good shit out there. It's still whatever. The cows are too overpopulated now. People
service by eating these
I didn't
steaks.
do a service. They produce too much CO2.
Well, Gregory, we have a challenge for you.
I was
this episode.
I think when we were gonna get to it, and I was also
Every other podcast in the world, they would give the challenge in the first couple minutes, but we are, smoking some weed.
We get later and later every time.
Yeah, so eventually, at some point, someone's gonna get the challenge right before we end the episode, but not today. So Gregory Hall, are you ready for your challenge?
Let's do it.
All right, so your challenge is to see how many of these category of movies you can name. The category is slasher movies. So, and then...
as many as you can. You can interrupt at any time. You cannot use your cell phone. I think that's everything.
That sounds like everything, but if not, I'm sure the PA will catch it and let us know later. Thank you, PA in advance. All right, so you can start whenever you're ready, and then blah, blah, blah.
Let's do this to start it. Let's go.
All right. So Gregory,
because I do have a question if you don't want to dive into the list yet.
Okay, what's the question?
Well, just because you were earlier before the podcast, you were talking about how you grew up in Jersey City.
Yeah.
What was, baby Gregory like? What was the young Gregory chap like? And how was life growing up in Jersey City? Because obviously, very different than how it is now.
Yeah, well, young Greg was a very interesting kid. He was a very interesting child. I grew up, born and raised in Jersey City, middle class family. My mother was a nurse. She passed away when I was.
I'm sorry.
No problem. You didn't do it. It's cancer. I'm still looking for the bastard.
That's right.
You find him, I'm gonna whoop his ass.
That's true. I'm not. My sign's also not cancer, so I'm not related to this anyway.
Yeah.
But no, she had passed when I was 15. But my mother was a nurse, and my dad, he had worked at the time. He worked at the Clorox plant. They used to be in Jersey City, not there no more. But my dad was like an all-American athlete. Like he was like all-American high school. Excuse me. He was all-American in college. He played semi-pro basketball. So that's the stock that I come from.
Wow.
But my mother, she had a previous marriage.
Yeah. How tall are you? Sorry, just have to ask.
Oh, I'm about 6'3".
Yeah, that's really tall.
My dad is 6'7".
That's ridiculous.
My mother was 5'11".
Oh my God!
And I have an uncle that's 6'9".
Yo, the balls are tall.
Yeah, tall balls. Yeah, because I'm 5 feet, so that's yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. Sorry. I just had to ask. You said your dad was what?
But yeah, I was. What did I leave? Oh yeah, young Greg. So yeah, So growing up, because I was the youngest out of 5. My mother, she was previously married before she met my dad, and she had 4 kids. So I'm my mother's 5th child, my dad's only child. So
you have 4 half brothers, sisters.
Yeah, I have a sister and 3 brothers. Yep.
Do you talk to them?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I talk to them. Yeah, it's like a huge age gap between us.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's like...
How many years? I have 10-year age gap between my younger half brother.
It's longer because my mother was 10 years older than my dad.
Ah.
Yeah. My mother was.
My parents have a similar age gap.
Yeah, my mother was 37 when she had me. My dad was 27. But yeah, so growing up in Jersey City was cool. Like I got this. I came up at an era where it was like I remember what it was like to be a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's I was born in 82. So I'm in that kind of weird area of elder millennial on that cusp of a Gen Xer. So it's I grew up with the video games. I had the Sega Genesis. I had the Super Nintendo. You know what I'm saying? But I went outside and played. It's hot as hell today.
Yes.
If his heat is set on hell, heat set on Africa. What the hell? But but on a day like this, when I was a kid, that's what somebody would have turned on the fire hydrant. You'd be outside, you run in the house, get your mother's, plastic bowl, and don't be using my good stuff, You had your water fights and stuff, and it was cool because my family was we all lived on the same block.
That's cool.
On the same block, so it was growing up, we was all together. My cousins and everything like that. So we was close on both sides, my mother and my father's side of the family. And it's weird because my dad he's so proud of me that I'm a comedian because he never thought in a million years that his son would be a comic because he would tell you he was my son funny. No. He was a quiet kid. I was a very quiet kid. I was like I lived in my head a lot when I was a kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was a very, I guess,
yes,
like
I totally relate to that. Yeah.
I think like I guess like hindsight's 20/20. So like thinking back then, like that was kind of like the seeds of planting of being an entertainer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like there's this thing, and I think a lot of I think no kids, but a lot of kids don't experience this anymore. I call it the magic hour. And what it is if you remember when you were young, you would come home from school, and then you would do your schoolwork, you know, your homework, whatever, or if you, like me, you didn't. You know what? I could do my homework, but I think I'm just going to, like, watch DuckTales instead to just get in trouble. But, you know, you do your homework, and then, you know, you got to wait for dinner. Your parents are going to cook or whatever. In that between time, that was the time you played. And I can guarantee you, what you did during that time is what you grew up wanting to be or became.
Oh, interesting.
Very good point. Very well said. That's a good. I've never even heard that before. I've never heard anyone explain it that way. That's so true.
Yeah.
That really pulls from some memories. Wow.
Like,
Interesting.
like think about it. Like if you
I'm
grew up,
thinking about my past. Yeah.
like if you grew up, like if you grew up to be an artist, like you drew and everything, guaranteed you were drawing in that magic hour.
Yeah.
Like for me, what I used to do was like I didn't, because now I'm getting into putting out content and being film, you know, transitioning to being a filmmaker. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize when I was a kid, during the time, what I used to do was I had a whole bunch of action figures. And I would literally be making like a storyline up. Like I'd be writing a story and then like, it was like I was a director of a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was doing that. And then I would, like, some of my favorite TV shows, I would act out. You know, I would,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? I would do
Yeah.
like an act out. So it's weird, you know, that I was doing that because, like I said, I was a shy kid. I didn't really, you know, because, you know, I grew up in that era where it was like the 90s was dope, but the 90s was also grimy. And, you know, and it was hard being the chubby, light-skinned kid living in, you know, growing up in the hood that reads comic books and likes anime. Because most of my friends, you know, I had friends that liked the same interests, but also had friends that were out there in the streets. You know, I wasn't, because I was fortunate enough that I had two loving parents.
Yeah.
And I came from a very loving family. But I had a lot of friends that did not have those situations, did not come from that.
Yeah.
You know, I never. A funny story. A friend of mine that I went to school with ran into him while he was robbing somebody.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I had to have been. I think I had to have been like, I was young. I think I had to have been like 22 or something. And I just see this guy getting stuck up. I'm like, oh crap! And then the dude, as he got the gun pointed at him, he looks at me. I'm like, crap! I'm done. He won't get me. He goes, yo, what up, G? I'm like, what?
Oh my god!
So I'm like, oh.
So fucking funny.
What's up? Yeah. I ain't gonna put his name out there, but I'm like, yeah. It's good. I see you're an entrepreneur. That's good. That's great. He's like, yo, you want to get in on this, son? I'm like, you know what?
Oh my God.
I'm okay. I work at the supermarket because I worked at a supermarket at the time. No, I was actually working at UPS at the time. And I'm like, I'm good. And I felt bad because the guy he was robbing was looking at me like I was supposed to save him.
God.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at him like, listen, I feel bad, bro, but you were on your own. He got the gun. And he likes me, so I'm going to play that hand so I can go about my business and get home safe. I will pray for you, sir.
This really happened.
This really happened.
Wow.
This was true. But that's a picture of the environment that I grew up in.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was, like I said, I knew a lot of kids that did that, but I never got into that.
Did either of your parents have a creative background? I know you said your mom was a nurse, but like was either of them in tune with anything artistic?
Okay,
well, there's a lot of art too.
Well, you know what?
Any profession.
That's an interesting question because I want to say no, but yes. Like my dad was an athlete. My dad was like, that's where I get my athleticism.
Which is an art, yeah.
Yeah, I played basketball since I was like 7. Yeah, so I played varsity basketball in high school. I was on the boys' varsity volleyball team, and when I was in college, I also used to box, Golden Gloves, Diamond Gloves,
cool.
that type of stuff. And my dad, he was in sports. Now my mother, she was a nurse, but she loved art, and that was the thing about my parents. They loved art. Like the reason why I was a nerd, why I had all these interests, why I became a comedian, is because of my parents. Like my love for comedy comes from my dad.
Yeah.
Watch, sitting with him at the age of 6, watching Eddie Murphy's Raw and Delirious, which, a 6-year-old should not have been watching. My parents were very, my parents were they were really relaxed about that.
Yeah. It's also like, it's that funny that it's worth it. It's like, all right, maybe a kid shouldn't watch this, but like a kid's gonna get a lot. Like even if the kid doesn't grasp all of the things that Eddie Murphy said,
then it goes over his head.
And he's just being like really physical and just like being really silly and doing funny voices because Eddie Murphy's amazing no matter what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about it is that I came from that generation when it was just like, okay, you gonna do what I'm doing. If we go into the movies and I want to go see so and so, that's what we gonna see. You know what I mean? But I loved it though because I remembered all those great times. And like I said, sitting watching Eddie Murphy's Raw with my dad. One of the things that I used to love to do with my dad was watch a Def Comedy Jam. He loved Def Comedy Jam, and I remember every Friday night it would come on at midnight. He let me stay up, and we watched Def Comedy Jam. So like my love for comedy comes from him.
That's so wonderful that you have like that special moment with him, or like moments where that's like your, I don't know, like that's a thing you guys did together. Like you always always did that, even when you got older.
Yeah, the thing is,
still bond over.
Yeah, like I'm blessed AF, blessed AF, because I have a lot of moments with my dad and my mother. My dad, especially with him, because like I said, it was my love for cinema came from him too.
Yeah.
Because we would always go to the movies. You know what I mean? Like.
What would he bring you to watch?
I've seen, it'd be anything I wanted to see. So, like, for example, my favorite, like, anybody knows me, my favorite, trilogy of all time, and I say that because the fourth one was crap. And I'm pestered doing the fifth one because it's going to ruin it more, but it was Indiana Jones. And my favorite one out of the trilogy is The Last Crusade.
Same. Yes, that's best.
Because it's a special movie for me with him because he took me to see it in the theaters. I was 6. And it was a story of a father and son. So that's, that movie. We watched it. My dad loves The Godfather. We watched The Godfather together and movies like Scarface. So like that came from him. My love for horror movies and sci-fi came from my mother. She loved Stephen King. She had them all. She had Christine, I remember. She had It. She was reading Carrie. And my mother was a huge sci-fi nerd. She loved Star Trek. Now, I'm a Star Wars guy myself, but speaking of moments, I would watch Next Gen and DS9 with her because that was my way of bonding with her. Because she would kick my dad out the room. So then he would have to I would always forget I was a kid because I was a really messy kid like any other boy never wanted to clean his room. So if my father was wanted to watch the game and Star Trek was on, my mother would kick him out and then he would go in my room to watch the game and then I'd be like, oh crap, I didn't clean. Now I'm scrambling, I'm kicking things under the bed.
That sounds like a fun childhood though. It's really what TV shows stick out to you that influenced your comedy?
Okay, so
you said movies, but I was just wondering. Okay,
so I'm a black 90s sitcom aficionado.
Ooh, okay.
So I can watch them all. Martin, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which is my favorite sitcom of all time.
That's great. Yeah.
In Living Color.
Okay,
So Living Color, I would say probably was the one because I'm a huge fan of the Wayans and all their work. And the thing is, no disrespect to SNL. I didn't get into SNL till I was much older.
Same.
Because when I was a kid, I didn't really get that kind of dry humor.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is really okay. But
sometimes the shit was just too political.
Yeah.
But then with like In Living Color, it's just like you just got characters. Like you've got one of the greatest collection of characters, and also for Jim Carrey being the token white guy, like that's fun as a kid. I'm white. My family's white. Like, well, I'm Persian, but like it's not, like. I don't know, just watching stuff where like I grew up in like a white community, but you're like. That just it sticks out as just like they're just incredible. They're just incredible, and it's just like why do we have? That's why I get upset where Astronomy Club got canceled on Netflix, and they continued other sketch shows, and I'm like, what was it?
That was the best one.
What the fuck was it? Which is probably race. I don't know if it's not like I can't speak to that. Gregory, you can, but I like it. Just that just pissed me off because they're writing the Wayne brothers. They produce so much too, but and all of the brothers it was just. Oh my god!
Yeah, that show was just
so freaking funny.
Like that, I just remember that. Like to this day, it's timeless. Like I could watch In Living Color to this day and still laugh my ass off. Like it. Like,
and they push the line.
Yeah.
They push the line.
Oh,
we watched them recently.
Yeah.
And like some shit does not age super well. And like also this is young Jamie Foxx when he was there, and then you'd have oh shoot, what's her name? Oh, was it J-Lo? Yeah, who was one of the dancers, or like even the dancers, right?
Yep.
Like just, oh my god. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're good. It was, but like, Living Color was just, I don't know. It was like, and so much greatness came out of that show. You think about it. You got Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx, all the Waynes, David Alan Grier, Tommy Davidson. That was like a heavy-hitter squad.
Yeah.
Like that was like.
Yeah.
You couldn't mess with them, and then like even like Mad TV, watching like Mad TV, and
that's just the other side of the coin because then it's all white people. They're
two
very different. Yes.
But that's the thing, like with me,
they were two very different audience.
Yeah.
But like people who watch each of those shows.
But that's the thing with me in comedy is that growing up, like the comedy that I always gravitated towards was like. That lowbrow comedy, but it had silliness to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like for me, my comedy is like I dress everything up in silliness. Any topic that I talk about, I'm gonna dress it up in silliness because to me it's silly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's silly.
That's why I still love the Amanda Show.
Yeah.
You know, like
silliness will always hold up, no matter what. Silliness will always be silly.
It's kind of slapstick. It's kind of slapstick comedy, and it's just like there's something that's old style about that because I love Buster Keaton. I love that he's one of my favorite, I would say, comedians actually. If I mean in film, you know, like doing it, you know, but. I don't know. It's just like now I'm just thinking about it. It just makes me so happy thinking about it.
Yeah, Gregory, when did you perform for the first time, or when did you first decide that you were gonna try performing in front of people?
So I've been in comedy about 7.5 years now, and I kind of so it starts like this. So back in 2012. I had a podcast. It was like talking about like nerd stuff and all that stuff. And that was kind of like right when I wanted to perform because I was interviewing a lot of performers. Yeah. And I was kind of getting like envious. I was like, well, I want to perform.
Yeah.
I'm dope. I'm dope. I think I am. Like I want to, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm not that bad of a guy. But
and now you're on the other end of the podcast.
Yeah, see, full circle, kids. Don't give up on your dream. But like I wanted to perform, and then the next year, a friend of mine, shout out to my homegirl Kirsten Marilyn, talented singer, she had a show in Boston, so I went with her to help her with a gig. And on the way up, we're driving. She said, "You're funny on your podcast. You should ever think about doing comedy." And in my head, I was like, "Yeah." But I think I said something like, "Me, nah." But I wanted to, so I was like, "You know what? I want to do what the cool kids is doing." So I was like, "I'll do improv." Yeah. So I signed up.
Yeah.
I love how you say that's what the cool kids are doing, because sometimes I feel like it's the most geeky shit. We're such improv nerds.
It's very geeky. It's very geeky, but
cool.
I was watching a lot of Portlandia at the time. But so I was like, I'm gonna try improv or whatever. So I did. So I signed up, improv class, took it at the pit, and it was cool. I was enjoying it. but I wanted some. Well, someone right. Someone right. I was like, I don't like being in an ensemble though.
Yeah.
Saying me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to try stand up. I always wanted to try stand up. Didn't know how, didn't know where to start. I was too scared or whatever. So at the time, they used to have an open mic back then. It was like on a Tuesday at 11 or something. I said, I'm gonna sign up. So I signed up. Now here's the funny story. I put my name in the bucket. Now I was the first name in, right? And it's random. I had 2 friends come and see me. One of the friends was my homegirl that told me I should do comedy. I'm the first name he pulled out. It's crazy, right? I get on stage. I don't even remember what my set was, but
you didn't have anyone record it?
Nah, I was. It was like 4 people in there.
Still, wouldn't it have been fun to just look back and see where.
No.
I feel like every comic would say that.
That's the improvising.
Yeah.
That's the improvised. Listen, I remember. I looked at my it was like not too long ago. I looked at my very first record set. It was on a DVD, right? So, see, kids, how long I've been in the game. On DVD, and I'm looking at it, and I took it out, and I was like, "Oh, why you gonna see this crap?"
Oh my
and threw it in the trash. I said, "What the hell?" I was like, and I thought I had a dope set when I did it. I was 6 months in. I was like, "Ooh, this is a comic strip live. Look at me. This is a good set."
Broke the DVD.
I was like, yo, I looked at that shit like 6 years later. I was like, yo, I wouldn't even laugh at me. This is.
Do you remember anything that's on it?
I don't. All I remember.
Too bad you didn't recycle those.
The only thing I remember was my dumb outfit, because I had on basketball shorts and a Flash t-shirt.
Isn't it a lot of shorts? Don't do comedy in shorts.
I did a comedy show.
But for men. A lot of women do shorts and a lot of women do shorts and comedy. A lot of women do comedy and shorts. It's just a guy thing, I guess. Well, I'm short in height.
Yeah.
So then shorts are still short, but I don't know where I was going with that. I'm high.
Shorts.
We'll meet you at the destination.
Right.
But
so shorts, basketball shorts.
Basketball shorts. I had a superhero Flash. I had the Flash t-shirt. I had many gold chains on.
What shoes?
Wasn't a good match.
What kind of shoes you had?
I had on some pair of Jordans, of course. I know, stereotype. But I actually wore Jordans here. But some J's here. But yeah, and I was just like, ugh, you stink, kid. Stink. So yeah, my first time, I'm glad I didn't. But the very first time that open mic, it was like as soon as I touched the microphone and I spoke into it, I was like, this is what I need to be doing. That's when it clicked.
It's the magic moment.
Yeah. That's when it clicked for me. And
like referring to when you were a kid. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, the magic hour.
That's why I was just
hour.
so I definitely heard something wrong. Yeah. Magic hour, yeah.
But yeah, it clicked, and I had kind of another moment like that. Last year, I did my first. It wasn't my first thing I would content I put out, but it was like the first major thing I did. I had wrote, and I don't know if y'all want to get into this, but I wrote and directed my first trailer. It was like a mock trailer. It was really a sketch. It was called Karen. It was a horror comedy trailer called Karen.
Okay.
And when I was filming that and putting all that together, that click moment happened. Because at one point when I was a kid, I wanted to be a filmmaker. Like I even wrote like an eighth grade essay on it. So I was like, that's when it clicked again.
Yeah.
So that's like, all right, you need to be doing this too. You gotta start doing more than just stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
So, but
what do you want to direct? Like, what as far as filmmaking in the future? What does Gregory Hall is gonna do? Like, you're writing, directing a lot, like that you can produce. Sorry, I am scattered all over the place. Let's backtrack.
I think you definitely answered.
Damn, I hit. What? Sorry, was that?
No. What
you said a long hit. So it's just too much. What were you gonna say? Doesn't matter. So
wrong answer.
Take it too long.
So yeah, you want to direct, write, produce, but like drama stuff or only comedy or like feature length, shorts, like what are we talking about?
You know what? Honestly, I want to do feature length. I want to do feature length, and I want to do it all. Because I just don't want to just do comedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I want to do like
expand.
Like honestly, anybody knows me, they'll tell you I love horror. Love horror.
Yeah. Although you still have never listed a single thing on your challenge.
Okay,
I think not a single thing.
Okay, wait a minute. So I was supposed to list stuff. Oh, I think I misheard the challenge.
No, that's totally fine. You definitely seemed confused in the beginning, but I just wanted to find out about your background.
Okay.
You were too interesting to resist.
You're too. No, honestly, that is the thing. The challenge is always a thing on the side. It's definitely the person that's more intriguing. It's more interesting. If somebody imagine listening to the whole episode, they're like, "Damn it, they didn't go through the challenge at all." But I learned so many amazing things about this person. But now I'm mad because I don't know slasher movies.
Yeah, and to be fair, there's a lot of times, almost every episode we do of this, where we go a long stretch and then we'll be like the challenge, and then we all remember that there's a challenge.
Right, because usually the guest forgets.
Yeah, because Mary Jane hides it very well.
She does.
Yeah.
Because if I gotta list slasher films,
you can list it at any time.
Okay.
You decide when the episode ends.
Oh, okay. So
at the number you want.
Okay, so this is okay. So let's just get back to me because I'm dope. Okay.
Also, your shirt, dope soul.
Yeah, dope soul.
Yep.
Because I am a dope soul. And then we're gonna do the slasher challenge because I'm a horror aficionado.
Okay, got you.
Okay,
yeah.
So you want to write film?
Yeah, I want to do film like horror, sci-fi. I want to because I have a whole bunch of stories that I want to tell. Mm-hmm. Like I really do. Like one of the things about me, anybody tells you, I call myself an unofficial historian because I love history. That was my favorite subject growing up as a kid. Because like in history class, when they would talk about any event in history, it was like a movie playing in my head. So I want to do something historic, which is like that's the one thing I want to be like my magnum opus or whatever they call it is that thing because I'm very much into Kemetic history and the ancient Kemetics or like people knows the ancient Egyptians and the Kushites and Kingdom of Kush, and I want to create a feature film or a show centered around that civilization at that time. That's like the brass ring of all the projects that I want to do and that I am working on currently.
Don't say any more of your ideas out loud.
Hell no. No, I will not because I'm already with the Karen situation. We'll get to that later. But yes, but yeah.
Wait, when did you do that trailer?
So I actually came up with the concept this time last year, wrote it in July, we filmed it in August and released it in September. Yeah.
And they can find that where? Where can people find that?
You can go to my production company's YouTube channel, Camp Nas. That's NOS. You can find the Karen trailer. You can also find a sketch that I also wrote and directed called The Hack and Slash School of Fitness. We also have podcasts. We have review shows. One is called Subscribe Reviews. We have a comic book show. We have a show on hip hop. We have a lot on that channel. We're an entertainment channel, so head over to Camp Nas. So that's where you can find it.
Sweet.
Cool. Yeah. Who was the comic book character that hooked you in and got you into comic books?
I don't know if it was a particular one. I don't know if it was a particular one, but I would say maybe like Superman and Batman. Because that's like usually the first superheroes you're introduced to as a kid.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I do remember when I was like 6 years old, I was a Superman for Halloween. Like I like this muscle outfit on.
Yeah.
I was Poison Ivy.
Ooh, nice. I was Batman and also Robin in back-to-back years. I was Batman and then Robin afterwards. So.
I can definitely see Robin.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. It's like the boyish, the dark hair. Yeah. If you do that, then
you definitely can play Tim Drake.
Oh God. Yeah, the Robins in general, like it's so interesting because like Batman is like I agree like Batman was also like my kind of like my entrance way into it because like everyone, whether you like comic books or not, you know who Batman is, you know who Superman is just by like the culture of and like what we live in, and Batman is so interesting and like Batman is like it's like very interesting and dark how much it gets, but then like there's all these different like eras with different Robins that are like are kind of like the benchmarks of the history of Batman in a way, you know, going all the way from the Dick Grayson stuff all the way through into his son, you know. Batman rules.
It's really interesting how it does transform for each generation.
Yeah.
You know, like we each, you know, each generation, the new one rising, whatever, like has their. Well, I don't know, because I, like, obviously when Jack Nicholson was Joker, for example, and, oh shit, who was the Batman at that time?
Michael Keaton.
Thank you. Yeah, so when he's, like, at that time, like, that wasn't when I was growing up, but he's still iconic, like Jack Nicholson, and, oh my god, why am I blanking?
Heath Ledger.
Thank you. Are like the Jokers for me, but like the Batman. I don't know. I also like George Clooney as Batman because that movie's so fucking. I never turned so much to acting, and that movie happened.
Like here's the thing about that film: George Clooney actually was a pretty decent Bruce Wayne.
I don't think he was bad.
He was a decent. Now the movie,
suave.
now the movie was trash, but I don't think he was.
Nah.
I like it. Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, not him. Jesus Christ. Him.
Oh yeah, he was.
All those great puns that he had.
The ice puns, the snow puns.
It was a stellar cast.
Everyone chill.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Joker or a favorite Batman?
Okay, so
in movies.
Okay, well, first of all, Batman could go kiss himself because I don't like Batman. Ugh.
Ooh, it really.
I'm a Superman guy.
Oh,
but,
so you're full Superman.
But as far as Batman goes, as far as all the Batmans in the movies, I have to say probably mine is Michael Keaton. I'm a classic dude. You know what I mean?
He's coming back. He's gonna be in the Flash movie.
Yes. Very excited about that.
Snap. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because now they're trying to get into more of like the crossing over universes, which they've done a little bit with like the TV shows and the movies and like at certain points, but this one they're gonna like bring him back to be Bruce Wayne.
Well, yeah, it's based off. I don't know. Are you familiar with
Flashpoint?
Yeah, it's based off the Flashpoint.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna use that to reset the DCEU.
Yes.
But. Yeah.
So, what were your thoughts on the recent Marvel movies? I mean, not movies. The TV show. Oh, we didn't even watch Loki yet. No. Damn it! I keep forgetting.
We low-key have not seen Loki. Not Loki anymore.
I have to catch up on Loki. I actually only saw the first episode.
Of WandaVision. That's what I was thinking of.
I actually enjoyed WandaVision.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. It was like very like psychedelic.
Yeah. So, like, is something like that in your taste? Like, something you would want to make that's a fusion of sci-fi and comedy? Because there's, like, a sitcom and...
It's a lot of things. It mixes genres in a really interesting way. Yeah.
And superhero. Yeah, wait, that's a lot of a fusion. I'm just thinking about it now. Yeah, like, give me an example of, like, a... Yeah, I don't know. I guess you can't compare it to because it's going to be unique.
Well, okay, so I would say this. One of my biggest influences, I'm a huge fan. He's probably my favorite filmmaker. I always say him and Quentin Tarantino. And that is Edgar Wright.
Yes! Oh, fuck yeah.
And, like, Shaun of the Dead is my favorite zombie film of all time. The way though that the ice cream trilogy that they have, that's something I want to do. Like to taste, like literally all they did was like, okay, we're gonna do a zombie film, but we're gonna do our version of a zombie film. Hot Fuzz. We're gonna do a buddy cop film, but our version of it, and also put in and call out the tropes that you see in action films. Yeah. At World's End, we're going to do our version of a sci-fi, but our version, and then throw the tropes that you know. It's, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a very meta thing that they do. Yeah. But like that, like, and Baby Driver, that movie's so underrated. So underrated. Oh, man.
Well, I mean, as Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
So I think
he does bring down.
That's why he brings things down.
Yeah. I will say the movies where Kevin Spacey is either A, villain, B, a creep, or C, a creepy villain.
A lot of them. So a lot of them.
Those movies definitely age better because you're like, oh, now this feels even more real. But like,
it ages better. It's just creepier. American Beauty.
Yeah, but I think when you watch like a movie where he's like the hero in it, it's weird. You're like, oh, I don't like because then like you can't take him seriously as like a likable regular guy.
I never thought he was likable, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I played Francis Underwood so well.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, he never looked like I remember watching Seven, and I was just like, you dick! Why did you do that? What is your deal, man? Like I just really did not like that guy. Like that, and I hate to say it because he's a creep, but it's like that's like how an actor does. Is like you can tell like they are good actors. It's like, oh, you played that a little too well.
Yes, it's a telltale sign where it's just like, where are you pulling from? Like deep within yourself.
And everyone's like, oh, you're such like an amazing actor. Like, like how do you do this? And it's like they're like a lot of them there are just being themselves, so it's very easy for them to do that.
Yeah, but Anthony.
Hopkins?
Yeah,
thank you.
He doesn't eat people, so and he played one of the craziest villains of all time.
Yeah, but I still hate Michael Fassbender because I've seen. Wait!
Why do you hate Michael Fassbender?
Because you ever see 12 Years a Slave?
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah, you watch that. You hate him too.
But I saw Django and Leonardo DiCaprio is like he's Candy that had the plantation, and I really like him.
Yeah, but Django was like. See, here's the thing, like.
It was different. It was
that was a cool slave film.
It was
like, oh,
yeah, it was a different.
He got popped, okay? Okay, he got popped, okay? Django was killing them white folks, okay?
Yes,
12 Years a Slave was like, listen, I don't need to see this trauma no more. Come on with these slave movies. And I'm like, screw Magneto. I'm still mad at him. What he did to Lupita Nyong'o in that damn movie. Yeah. Okay?
I should watch it. I honestly should watch it just because... it's history, and they probably told it really, really well. And people have just had like really, really good reviews for it. But I think the reason I haven't watched it is because I know it's going to be very intense. Yeah. And I'm just you got to get in the mood for that, which unfortunately is a ridiculous thing to say because shit still happens today, and people are still living it. And I'm just privileged I'm just privileged. Like I'm just in an area, I don't know, but like that. Because I haven't really seen sorry, how do you pronounce her name? Lupita Nyong'o. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I haven't really seen her in a lot of other stuff. And that was her breakout role. She is. That's so what I'm saying. Where I'm just movie. Obviously she shot the top for a reason. She must be crazy. Oh wait, wasn't she in Us?
She was in Us.
And she was in Black Panther.
Yeah.
Oh, duh.
See,
yeah, you're right.
See, I think they marketed 12 Years a Slave wrong. But they marketed wrong. What they should have did was listen, if you are a white person, you must Venmo all your black friends if you watch this film. Every white person had to
Wasn't it a Plan B production though? By Brad Pitt?
The Brad Pitt one, yeah.
Yeah, he was in there.
He's in the movie.
He's in the movie, and he plays the worst type of one. He's a
plantation owner? Is he a bad guy?
I think he has a plantation owner, right? But he's one of the good
Our old
guys.
That's the thing I hate about them slave movies. They always try to put in the good slave master,
right?
Try to trick you, he's not that bad of a guy. He doesn't beat his slaves. But no, he still owns people. That's not right.
He's still a slave owner.
Yeah, it's no. That's still not right. That's no.
He's like the slave owner who goes out and is trying to shoot the shit as if it's no, this is a fucking situation. Working hard, hardly working. It's no, I'm working hard because I'm a slave.
For zero pay.
Yeah.
I have no freedom.
Yeah. The slave master didn't go hey, how's the weather today?
Right.
Yeah. How's the kids? Yeah. All right.
He's a great master.
Keep up the good work. No.
Shared an orange slice one day.
One day.
You look thirsty here. That's
a low bar. That's a really low, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ugh.
Well, I really do. I am curious who they had on their marketing team. How they actually I don't know. Sometimes it's just interesting to have who wrote it, who directed it. Is it all white people?
No, Steve McQueen. I know Steve McQueen directed it. I think he might have wrote it, but I'm not sure. Yeah, but it was adapted from a memoir too, right?
Yeah, it was recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm all right, enough with the trauma.
Yeah.
Enough is enough.
Yeah. What's your favorite Tarantino movie?
Ooh. Okay, that's a hard one because I'm always between these two, but I'm gonna say his very first one, Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
Because if you watch that movie, the way he shot it was genius. Genius, because think about it. It's a heist movie, but you don't see the heist. You never see the heist. That's his genius.
Yeah.
Every heist movie, you see the heist. You don't see the heist. That's why you watch it. He made a heist movie and didn't even show the heist. He showed the aftermath of the heist, which is something, you know what I mean? And made a whole thing about it.
Yeah.
And filmed it, in one spot. Most of the film takes place in an abandoned warehouse.
Yeah.
Like, who does that? Like, you know
It's intricate. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, he makes personal drama as interesting as a heist. Because it's like, at no point when you're watching the movie are you like, oh man, I wish I was seeing the heist. You're like, this is some really, like the lack of trust between all the different people, and like just the more information you're finding out as you go along is just super.
That was the thing with Hateful Eight. Like, Tarantino obviously has a common recipe. Like, he has the thing that he does.
He likes that.
He knows how to write that. He knows how to do it well.
And see,
and it's
that's
like,
the funny thing you
that
brought.
Inglourious Bastards, like.
The funny thing that you brought up the Hateful Eight, because everybody says, "Oh, that's Quentin Tarantino's Western." I'm like, actually, it's not a Western.
No, not at all.
It's not. That's Quentin Tarantino's murder mystery.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's what I love about Tarantino, is that he'll look at something and go, okay, I'll take, say, like, for example, slashers, right? Mm-hmm. You add this to the channel. Death Proof is a slasher film. People, how's that a slasher film? What, because the villain doesn't have a knife? Doesn't have a machete? A glove? Nah.
I'm not familiar with Death Proof.
Death Proof. Remember? Back in I think it was 2005. Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez did Grindhouse, and Grindhouse, the movie, was they had this idea to do, like, okay, so I get history, so you know what I'm talking about. So back in like the late 60s and 70s, they had these movie theaters. They were like old theaters, like think of like back in the day, 42nd Street, Smutville.
Yeah.
And they would have like these 25-cent movies, and there would be these Grindhouse films. So it's like, it could be like the Shaw Brothers Kung Fu films, you know, so you'll get like a double feature. So it'd be like, okay, so you'll pay like $1 and you'll watch Kid with the Golden Arms and the Five Deadly Venoms.
Yep.
Okay, and like a lot of these Grindhouse films played like a lot of classic kung fu films.
Yeah.
They played blaxploitation films. They played there's a whole list of exploitation type films. There's like.
You have Criterion, by the way?
Do I have what?
Criterion.
No.
Okay, we'll get in that later then. You
But-
should. That's like, just because like what you're describing and how much of a movie buff you are, like that is a very good app.
Oh, okay. I gotta
For
check that out.
films, for like not undiscovered, but like like you're not gonna find these films anywhere. Like, this is the one that has. I don't know any other thing that has this kind of archive.
Yeah,
That's
it
all
does.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, back in the day,
Yeah,
moving picture.
So like they had like all these other like subgenres, like Grindhouse films. So like they would have like there's this like weird subgenre of like zombie Nazi films. So it'd be like Women of the SS, zombie something, werewolf, whatever, and something stupid, or like so Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez wanted to do their own. So they filmed 2 movies and it was in one. And they split it, and then they had fake trailers. So you got the whole experience. So that's when like Robert Rodriguez had the idea for Machete. Came from, and then Rob Zombie did his fake trailer, which was a Werewolf Women of the SS, which is that subgenre I was talking about.
I'm gonna have to go back and this kind of sounds familiar, but I really
Kurt Russell is in.
Yes, he played the bad guy. He played the villain. He played the slasher. He was Stuntman Mike.
Yeah.
Except in 7 Death Proof, instead of the knife, he used his car.
So do you count this, Brendan? As
yeah. You know, because
confirmed.
you said Death Proof, and like I had the exact reaction that you said, and then but it's true because slasher like.
Yeah, explain what slasher is
So,
for the folks.
So like a slasher movie is, it's like a horror movie basically where there's like a group of people usually, or like, you know, some amount of people who are getting killed by some type of killer. And you know what, it's true, based on the pitch, Death Proof does qualify as a slasher
So isn't
movie.
that like a bunch of horror movies because someone's being killed by some killer? Like possessed movies where people are possessed. Is that not a slasher film?
That's not a slasher film. That falls under the category either supernatural or like demons and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that falls under that. Like slashers would be like, okay, so you got Halloween. Mm-hmm. Okay, you got Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And if you have not seen the 2018 version, I highly suggest it because it's really good.
I've seen that one, yeah.
And Halloween Kills. If you don't, I've seen the trailer and I wish I didn't. They gave way too much.
You know what? That's why I stopped watching trailers.
I was like.
It's ridiculous. I don't know why they do that. But also,
they gotta sell it to people.
Halloween's ridiculous because like they're running around. The people who are the ones being killed always like run around like so like oh my god, out of sorts, running like almost blah blah whatever, and then he just walks and he catches up to them
because he's that good. Mike Myers,
no. He's a Fitbit or something so he's gonna come because how the fuck does he catch up to them?
See, though, Michael Myers didn't do that. So you're thinking of Jason. Jason would do that. You'd be running, falling, running. That's, you thinking like full speed Jason's just power walking. With a bop to him. Because, okay, so now I'm glad you brought this up. So now we in the slasher portion. So I'm going to give y'all some history on it. So boom, check this out. So you got...
Wait, Jason, but that's nothing.
So you got
right?
Friday the 13th, right?
Yeah.
So, but now check this out though. Now, that whole thing where like Jason's just power walking and all that stuff, and then and you're like running for your life, he catch up to you. That did not happen until Friday the 13th, part 6. Jason Lives, because that's when Jason transcended into that supernatural territory that he's a revenant. Because remember the first one, the killer's his mother, Pamela Voorhees.
Right.
The second one is him. And the third one is him too, but the third and the fourth one is him, but they didn't do that. Like the kills are different in those ones.
Right.
It's not what he's still pretty like grounded in being a human.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one is like that was supposed to be the final chapter. And then the fifth one, if you remember, wasn't even Jason. It was like some other guy under a mask.
Oh, okay. But you're supposed to think it's Jason the entire time?
Yeah, but you find out it was somebody else because Jason's dead. But then the sixth one, that's when he comes back from the grave.
Okay.
And that's when he started doing all that supernatural crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when that started. Because, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But what I loved about the 2009 remake was, and that was a good version. It was a shame that I didn't get a sequel. But I think because the studios are going through a war with the rights. I think that's why they did it. But the 2009 version was really good. They addressed it. What they did was he had traps set underneath the camp. So he knew how to maneuver through the camp in other ways that nobody else could.
Like tunnels?
Like tunnels. He had tunnels and stuff. So they kind of addressed that in there. So I thought that was pretty clever.
Okay.
Whoa.
That's cool.
And also, fun fact, Jason's my favorite slasher.
He's a good one, yeah. And that's cool because like that explanation makes him a smarter slasher too. Because like that's like one of the things with I can't say any of the other ones, but like but it's like it's impressive when you see how good they are at being slashers.
Well, yeah, because like that's the thing about the slashers. It's like they all have their own thing. So you have like Jason's my favorite. He's the brute. He's a big like if it was high school, he would be that brute jock lineman, like just like juggernaut. Like because Jason had brutal kills. Like he was brutal. Like he didn't play with his food. Like he didn't like if they had to actually cut the scene down in Jason Part 7 where he kills the girl with the sleeping bag. She's in the sleeping bag. He picks it up and he just like bangs up against the tree. And he does it one time, but they had to edit it down because he repeatedly does it. And then it was like in part 6, he takes a girl's head and just smashes this through like a mirror, and an imprint of her face comes out on the other side.
Oh my god!
That was the thing about Jason. It was like you couldn't. And my favorite Jason kill was part 8 when he goes to Manhattan and he's fighting the black dude. He's fighting the brother, the black. I was like, why they gotta have the brother shoot the fair one with Jason? Like he was like, fuck it, I'm gonna shoot the fair one with you. And he's just sitting there beating the shit out of Jason, punching him, and he gets tired, and then he's like, give me your best shot. Jason uppercuts this dude's head off, knocks his block off literally, and it rolls into a trash can. I said, what the hell? Just like, you ever remember the Rock and Sock'em?
Yeah.
Literally
that's
just like...
Yeah, that's like anime. That sounds like, not anime. What is the, oh gosh, Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. That's like the Street Fighter. I know he did that. I was like, what the hell?
Oh, God.
But like, Jason was a brute. Michael Myers was creepy in the Halloween films. Michael Myers was creepy. He was the stalker, you know. Freddy Krueger, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Freddy was funny. Freddy was funny. He cracked the jokes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all his puns and stuff. You know, Chucky was a dick. Chucky was a dick. In Child's Play, he was a dick. In Chucky, Child's Play. Yeah, I watched Child's Play.
Wait, is it not? The name of the movie's not Chucky?
There's a Child's Play and there's also Chucky. Yes. And
Oh.
yeah.
Well, like Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky.
Yeah.
Are you listing more? So how many are there?
Because the sequels all count, right? So the sequels to all these movies. Yes, you can say all the sequels you want for all these movies, and you'll get points for all of them.
Okay, so you got this. So check this out. So you got Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, Seasons of the Witch. Michael Myers was not in that one. Because fun fact, John Carpenter intended Halloween to be an anthology. So, so Michael Myers was the first one. Then the second one was supposed to be Seasons of the Witch, but the studio wanted a sequel to the Michael Myers one.
Wow.
So you have Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, Seasons of the Witch, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, and Halloween 666, the director's cut. That I saw, which makes the movie better. Halloween H2O, Halloween Resurrection, Rob Zombie's Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Did you say the names of Halloween 4 and 5?
Yeah.
You said the full names? Okay, just saying.
Well, no, Halloween 5 was Michael Myers' Revenge, I believe. And Halloween 4 was Return of Michael Myers, or something like that.
It's gotta be exact. But Brendan's checking that. Let me continue.
What is this, Jeopardy?
No, it's Wheel of Fortune.
Then it's Halloween to 2018. And then coming soon will be Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. Then you have...
oh my god, there's many of them.
But sorry, so see, what was the name for Halloween? Was it 4 that we were checking?
I think it was like Return of Michael Myers.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And then the 5th one was Revenge of Michael Myers.
Yeah, he got it. Yeah, he got him. Yeah, he's good.
Also, I was just reading interesting stuff about the actor who played... what's his name? Hodder?
King Hodder. Yes.
He's Jason?
Yes.
He played Jason?
Yes.
I didn't know, like, he was born in Auburn, California in 1950. You know this story? What happened to?
What happened to him?
Of, like, how he got, like, in the beginning of his, with the fire?
Oh, with the fire, yeah. He doesn't even like talking about it, but I was going to say, fun fact, I actually hung out with him.
Whoa!
Oh my God.
Hung out with him, and I gotta tell you, the coolest MFer you want to meet, shout out to King Holder, he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. I met him back in 2015. I went to Monster Mania down in Cherry Hill.
Okay.
Horror movie convention. And I went with two friends who are horror movie buffs like me. We went there. We had the VIP passes, so we went to the party, and they were there. And he was there. Tyler Mane was there, who played Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie films.
Oh my god!
And I actually got to hang out with him on a couple occasions. And like they were mad cool. Like they hung out with us at the bar and everything.
Oh, shit.
And they was dope.
That's awesome.
Yeah, cool dude.
Yeah, well, that's cool. That's just an unfortunate incident. I was just reading about his accident. That's all. Where he, early in his career, during an interview, he offered to show the interviewer and her cameraman a fire stunt, which went horribly wrong, leaving him with 2nd and 3rd degree burns over much of his upper body.
Oh wow!
It was because of these burns that he was initially selected to portray Freddy Krueger.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's just wild.
Wow.
I wonder if he doesn't like talking about it because he's just like, I just feel so stupid. I should have never shot them on fire.
Yeah, I'd be like, well,
but also, like, then he would have been
He's Freddy Krueger, though, so.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, I hope the good's gotta come out of bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was Jason. He became Jason in part 7. But yeah, you have Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th Part 2, Friday the 13th Part 3, Friday the 13th, the final chapter, Friday the 13th Part 5, Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, Friday the 13th Part 7, Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Does he have to say the full titles besides part, or?
Let's see. I want to say the name of it. Okay, so...
Jason Takes Manhattan, then you have Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah, that sounds like a Jessica Parker movie. Jason Takes Manhattan.
Jason takes the 6 member
Sex and the City. Jason.
Yeah, the Final Nightmare. Then there's not Final Nightmare, the Final Friday.
No. Oh yeah, yes. That's one.
Jason Goes to the Final Friday. Then there's Jason X. And then there's the 2009 Friday the 13th. And then there's also Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You have Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
A lot of revenges with a lot of these.
It's never done.
Guess who's back?
Guess who's back? By request of the studio.
They do not meditate. They build all this anger up and resentment inside until they unleash it.
The pain that you feel is from the studio because I don't want to do this shit. But I'm contracted obligated to play this character for the rest of my life.
Yeah, they make so much money though, right? Like,
oh yeah.
So it's probably hard to say no. And it's always fun to see them too.
Well, New Line Cinema was always called the house that Freddie built. Yeah. But yes, Friday, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. Then there's Part 4, which is Dream Masters.
Damn, Gregory, you got some deep knowledge, man.
Part 5 is The Dream Child. Part 6 is Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. And then there's Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And then there's Freddy vs. Jason. And then there's that god-awful remake that they did, which was blasphemous. Nightmare on Elm Street. Ugh. Then you have Child's Play 2, Child's Play 3, Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky. Then you have
These names.
Then you have, let's see, Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, Scream 5 is coming out next year, or the end of this year, and then you have Scream the series on MTV.
Okay.
Candyman 2 for Farewell to the Flesh, Candyman 3 Day of the Dead, and the new Candyman that's about to come out.
Well, what is that one called?
Candyman.
Yeah. Well.
Then there's Hatchet 2, Hatchet 3.
There's a Hatchet, then Hatchet 2, then Hatchet 3. Okay.
Yep. What else? Let's see. There's Maniac. I guess you would consider this a slasher film. Psycho.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Psycho. How can I forget this one? Terror Train.
Oh yeah.
Terror Train. Then there's Summer Party Massacre. Summer Party Massacre 2. Sleepaway Camp 1, 2, and 3.
Ooh yeah.
Then there's Black Christmas.
That movie was creepy.
That movie is so genuinely scary to watch.
Yeah. Just where they have like the camera, like talking about camera angles, but we like the breathing, and you're seeing it from you, like it's you are watching where the camera's perspective is. Like it's like a first person game where he's creepy with the girls and he just rubs me the wrong. I don't like it. Why do they call it Christmas?
It's during Christmas, isn't it?
Who came up with the title Black Christmas? Also?
It sounds like a bad blaxploitation film.
Yeah.
Christmas. Now it's Black Christmas. Live from the east side of Harlem. But then I Know What You Did Last Summer. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Urban Legend 2, Final Cut. There was another one up. Okay, now this one kind of, in my opinion, there's gonna be some hard geeks out there. No, it's yesterday, blah blah blah. Shut up. It flirts. It is a slasher, but it can fall into other subgenres of horror. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I consider that.
Yeah. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, 3.
Those have any other names?
2 and 3, no.
Oh my god.
Then there's
Maybe it's just an easy category.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation.
Yeah. It's like Degrassi.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, I lied. The third one, there is something before, so it's something : the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Really?
Yeah, the whole thing.
At least according to Wikipedia.
Because you're doing real well. You are.
Yeah, there's a first name part of it.
I was trying to think. I probably don't remember that. Then there's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre the remake. Then there's the prequel to the remake, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Beginnings or something. And then then there's the Texas Chainsaw 3D, which I unfortunately saw that in the theaters. And then there's, I believe, I didn't even know this one existed, but there's another Texas Chainsaw Massacre out in the ether. I don't know the official title to that one because I just wasn't aware of that.
What year? Do you know around what year? Because there's actually 2 more listed here.
Really?
Yeah. One.
I don't even know.
My lord.
One of them, I guess, is coming out in 2021, so I can't even click on it.
Yeah, that one I knew that. I heard about that one, but I didn't know there was another one.
Yeah, there's one in 2017 also. Yeah.
Any other slashers? Who else? I think that might be it. I mean, because my thing is, some people I guess say Pinhead, Hellraiser.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that kind of falls into other stuff. But if so, you would say that Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Hellraiser 2. What was the full title of that one? It's on the tip of my tongue. I don't remember it, because I remember the third one is Hell on Earth.
Yep.
Then there's...
What was number 2?
The number 2, I don't remember.
Yeah, really.
Then there's Hellraiser Bloodline. And this is... I'm probably going to get these wrong, because there was a couple. There was like Hellraiser... Dead Heads or Dead something.
You're close, yeah.
It was something like that.
There's one close to that, yeah.
Yeah, then I think it's Hellraiser Revelation, I think it's called.
Yeah, that's one.
Then there's another Hellraiser, but I don't remember what the full title was because it wasn't starring the original Pinhead, so I didn't care. I didn't care about that one.
Yeah. Do these movies scare you ever? Like, is that part of it for you, or what is it about these movies that you like so much?
Okay, so remember when I said Little Greg was a very interesting kid?
Yeah,
I was, because my first horror film I ever seen was A Nightmare on Elm Street, and I was 3 years old, and it didn't scare me.
Yeah,
It didn't scare me. So horror films never scared me. They never scared me. There was some that got me. Like, one that got me, and I don't scare easily, was Candyman, the original one. That got me. That got me.
Yeah.
That got me when I was a kid. But, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't scared. I loved horror. It was just entertaining to me. And I got the story and everything like that.
Yeah.
I think I even seen a couple horror films when I was a kid. A kid probably should not be seeing or watching. But I did. I watched them. So horror and comedy were like my first love as far as that, you know.
Yeah. They do have a lot of similarity, the two things, horror and comedy, you know. And like it's interesting because like when you first would look at them, they seem like they're kind of opposites, but it's just like there's like similar approaches to it. Like there is, I don't know, just like the way they're thinking about horror and comedy. A lot of it is like the suspense before the reveal, like the same way where it's like set up punchline, you know. And I think also sometimes those two categories, especially in film, they don't get a lot of like respect, you know, especially when it comes to like award season type stuff. Like horror, even now, like horror is like still not seen like it's on the same level. But then you have people who like come out here and make these like, incredible movies that like they are there to scare people, but like they're beautifully shot. Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre is like a incredibly beautiful movie the way it's shot, and the same thing with a lot of these ones because they have to be cinematic in order to be scary in a lot of ways too, you know.
Yeah, like Midsommar. That film. That film was like, yo, let me tell you something. Now, this is, I'm gonna tell you the genius of that film.
Which film?
Midsommar.
Oh,
Midsommar.
yes.
Let me tell you something about Midsommar.
I was like, that's a slasher, but no, we're not talking about that.
Like, yo, like,
nah.
he was like, the director of that film was like, I'm going to shoot a horror film in the daytime.
Yeah.
Really? Like, you know what I mean?
And it's so fucking
Brilliant.
scary. And it so works.
Still works.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing in horror. You gotta elevate the game in horror because what you see in horror, what they do, something becomes big, they latch onto it, and then you see 50 million other versions of that thing. And then that's when horror takes a nosedive. Because, like, in the 80s, it was all about the slashers. But it was so many of them, and all, like, you see all the sequels I named, people got fatigued. Like, Candyman was kind of like that exclamation point, because that came out in 93, I believe, or something like that, or 92. But, like, by that time, the early 90s, horror took a nosedive. You know what I mean? Like it did. It didn't come back to Scream came out. And the Scream was a movie that poked fun at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's how they had to do it. And so that's how you elevate the game. Yeah. How Jordan Peele elevated the game with Get Out. Mm-hmm. So it's like you gotta raise the bar. So like I love horror and I want to do horror, but it's gonna be a while before I even touch that because I feel like everybody's trying to do that now. Yeah. So I'm like, I was gonna focus on something else.
Yeah, you have time to marinate. Give time to think about it. Yeah, for sure, because it's very. You obviously have a wealth of information. In that subject matter, but also Scary Movie 1, Scary Movie 2, Scary those aren't slashers. But I'm just saying, as far as like
the living color world and mixing it with like the horror.
Fun of horror, those movies stand on their own. I was just looking up a story that I vaguely remembered, but I want to look up to get the details because we were talking about Nightmare on Elm Street. Excuse me, A Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger? Who's the actor that played that?
Robert Englund.
Thank you. Yeah. I literally lost my page on my phone. But Robert Englund, did you know Mark Hamill, who we all know as Luke Skywalker, is his most famous role.
And also the Joker.
Mm-hmm. And yes, oh my god.
Amazing Joker.
Amazing
so
Joker,
good.
And also the
so
remake
good.
version of Child's Play Chucky.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that either.
So Mark Hamill, before he became Mark Hamill, I mean, he obviously was before, but before he got the major acting role as Luke Skywalker, was sleeping on Robert Englund's couch. So Robert goes to this audition because George Lucas and why am I blanking in his name? Francis Ford Coppola were, trying to, do this project together or something. He auditions thinking he's gonna get, or going for Han Solo, the actor who plays Freddy Krueger.
Oh, really?
Then instead, doesn't get the part because they said he was too young. So he comes and he looks at Mark Hamill, sleeping on his couch, and he's just like, he told him about Star Wars. He's like, hey, I went to this audition. There's this thing. There was for this role, whatever. Mark Hamill goes in, and then obviously he gets Luke Skywalker. Yeah. But how bizarre is that?
Freddy Krueger is responsible for Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
We fucking love you, Freddy.
Yes.
One of a horror. Oh my god.
Wait, so Robert Englund was reading for
Han Solo, and they said he was too young.
Imagine that movie. What a different movie that is. How different all of Star Wars is if Robert Englund plays Han Solo, and then Harrison Ford plays Freddy Krueger.
I kind of feel like if that happened, I feel like if you had a time machine, you would create a paradox. If you would find a way, the whole universe would just explode.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to happen.
The overseer of the universe would be like, no, but of course Harrison Ford is Han Solo. There's no universe where he's not Han Solo, and then there is one.
But how wicked, though. That's why artists help other artists. Other people support other people. Whether you're crashing on each other's couch, or you want somebody to listen to your song, or you want to, have someone read what you wrote, or watch a movie that you just made, or a trailer, or a sketch, or whatever. You do not know. Somebody can be like, hey, I tried this, didn't work out. How about you try? What about this thing for you? And then you help each other out. And then for them to each, fall into their own roles that are both cult classics that have a huge following in and of themselves. That's epic. It was amazing.
Yeah. Those are my favorite type of films. The films that are considered cult classics. Those are the films that influence me. You know what I mean? My favorite movie of all time is a movie called The Last Dragon, which is a kung fu film, and that's I love that movie. I can recite that movie. From start to finish, line for line, every character. I could do a one-man show with that movie. It was the first because that movie was it won. Like I said, growing up, I like kung fu films too. So there was a lot of Barry Grody's The Last Dragon.
I'm sorry. I needed a visual.
There was a lot of Bruce Lee references in there. Wow. Bruce Lee was a big influence on that film. So it had Bruce Lee in there. Also it was the protagonist was a black guy. I saw myself finally. You know what I mean? I could be a hero too.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? And even the villain, the most badass villain was Shonuff. Yeah. That movie was just amazing. And movies like that, my favorite horror film of all time is a movie called Tales from the Hood. Those films, that's what influences me. And you can see that in guys like Quentin Tarantino, Edgar Wright in their work. Those '70 grindhouse films, you know, if they didn't see those Pulp Fiction when it got made, or like Reservoir Dogs, or Kill Bill, you know what I mean, or like Baby Driver.
Yeah.
You know
Art inspires art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that's why it isn't really. What was the article I was just reading? Who came out and defended Olivia Rodriguez because like her music, people were accusing it of being like plagiarism and all that, and he was like, "Damn, I'm gonna have to look that up."
Wait, who's that? Wait.
Olivia Rodriguez, you know that girl who was like a TikTok or somebody like
the
she
song,
just
right?
had like Sour, whatever the album, and like everybody plays their music everywhere.
The driver's license song? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, that girl who plays that. Yeah, but I just brought it up just because talking about art inspiring art. It's just like it's not really. Like, yes, there are, I believe, still original ideas out there, but then in the other side of the coin, so many of it, all of it has been done already. And it's just like, how do you elevate it? And like, yes, people have made so many of these types of movies before, but then it's like, that inspires you to do something greater. And then like, yeah, is it really plagiarism? Is it really stealing? Because once you make your art, whatever form that is, and you put it out into the world, it's no longer yours. In a sense, it is like, and if you don't like it being, also, that bothers me too when people are just like, if people like, you know, don't like your stuff. I mean, not if like it's friends and family not giving you like positive reinforcement, but I'm saying like if, you know, like, and you know, a singer puts out an album or something and people shit on it. It's just like, they are allowed to challenge you. You challenge them with this unique sound. Yeah. You don't think you're gonna get some responses? Like stuff like that. But then again, I'm not a musical person at all, so like I always bow down to people who do that because I'm just like, I can't believe how you are able to figure out what you're thinking into sound and how you make that. That's just
here's the thing.
It's a different thing.
Opinions and criticism to me is two different things. Okay, I mean, you're a critic. You're a hater essentially. You're a hater. I'm sorry, you are. If you're a critic, you're a hater. But you're an objective hater. Okay, you're not subjective, you're objective. Okay,
which is silly because everything's subjective.
Right. So, but it's objective hating, right? And art is subjective, and see that's that line. It's like, okay, what's good to one person is not going to be good to another. Like I can show you a film, and be like, yo, this movie's dope, it's amazing, you're gonna love it. I show you this film, you might be like, that was alright. What? Like that was alright. You know what I mean? But that's your opinion. Like art is subjective. You know, you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I think don't get me wrong,
there's actual shit out there.
Oh, no, it's bad
shit. And there's actually good shit that if people don't like it, there's something wrong with them.
But there's you know what though? There's some good and bad stuff. Like, it really is. There really is.
It's so bad. There's
this one movie, oh my God. It's funny as hell, but it's weird as fuck.
What is it?
It's a movie called Freaked.
Okay.
What's his name?
Freaked.
The guy who played Bill from Bill and Ted.
Not Keanu Reeves.
Not Keanu Reeves. Bill. I forget his name. He is in the film.
1993 comedy sci-fi.
Now,
Alex Winter.
Okay, Alex Winter. Don't look any further. So I'm gonna tell you a fun fact about that film. So, the movie is weird. Like, if I showed you, you'd be like, what the hell? So, the whole movie's about, he plays this actor, and he has to... He's a sponsor to this corporation that's the toxic waste. Anyway, he has to go to South America for an appearance. Him and these two activists get kidnapped by Randy Quaid, who runs a freak show. He has that stuff frozen on them, and they're all freaks. So he like kidnaps people, turns them into freaks, and forces them to perform. Okay. This movie is weird. Like Mr. T's in there. He plays the bearded lady.
Oh my God!
Wow, we have to watch this.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a fun fact. There is a freak in there that's a dog, like a dog-human hybrid.
Oh,
he's like the leader of the freaks.
Okay. Oh, okay.
That dog is played by Keanu Reeves.
Oh yes!
And nobody knew this. He's uncredited because he didn't want to be at the time. But and then when I went back and watched it, I was like, that's Keanu Reeves.
What?
Wow.
And the movie is so weird. There's one scene where like in the film when the guy's about to put on the show with the freaks, the crowd's coming in, and then you see a sign that says petting zoo, when these kids petting animals. Then it goes like real petting zoo, and it's a guy and a lamb making out.
What?
It's not like a real lamb. It's like you can tell it's animatronic, but literally it's tongue swapping.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm like,
all right.
What the hell? And then like in the crowd, like Randy Quaid walks out, and then the crowd's like really rowdy. So you think he's gonna be like, hey, shut up. He just goes, quiet, please. And everybody just goes, I said, what the hell kind of movie is this? There's like another scene where they're trying to break into the lab and they're making all this noise. Randy Quaid doesn't hear nothing. Someone drops over a styrofoam cup and he's like, what is that? Then he goes and he's like, styrofoam cup. Bad for the environment. And then his security force are two.
He crushes
it. Bad for the environment. And then like his two enforcers are two giant eyeballs. Rasta eyeballs. You can't tell me that we did not sponsor that film.
Yeah. Somebody was on something.
Two Rasta eyeballs with machine guns talking about John man, yeah, food man, like with joints in their mouth, what really in their iris, like.
Holy. Wow. This sounds incredible.
Yeah, you can see someone having the idea for that and just being like, yo, I got this idea, two eyeballs.
And they made it.
And like, it's cool, honestly, it's cool to see a movie like that and you're like, someone had a crazy idea and they made it into a
Dude, I've
movie.
watched so much weird shit in the 90s. Yeah. So much weird stuff.
Yeah, the 90s was definitely an unusual time.
Yeah.
Really weird art.
Is there more weird stuff from like that time period than there is now, would you say?
I would say more weird stuff from like the late 80s.
Yeah, 80s.
The 80s going forward to the 90s. Like I recently just watched the Garbage Pail Kids movie. Like that movie is super weird. There's Freaked. There's a lot. Like I said, like horror went to that bad place. Like there's this one film called Shrunken Heads, where it's about like these three kids that get killed, and like the store owner is a voodoo guy, and he like
is a what guy?
Like a voodoo guy, like he's a voodoo priest, and he brings the boys back to life as shrunken heads to take revenge.
Oh my god! This was in Scooby Doo.
Like this.
You're right. It was
like it's like who came up with this? Like who smoked? Like I got an idea, son. Yeah. Like it's weird. Like I remember watching that film. Like what?
Yeah. I just one of the cool things about weed, though, bringing it back to that, is like it's really interesting, like where your mind can go and like the possibilities that your mind has, and like there's other drugs that also have like that kind of same experience, but there's something about weed where you can really like your mind is really open, or like the higher version of yourself is really open to the craziest, most abstract, absurd ideas possible.
Yeah, I mean, because sometimes without it, those other channels in your brain won't open, and then you won't discover the unknown. Or like that other stuff, you just like never would have thought of that stuff sometimes, or like you would have never like actually executed it and made it, like, you know, produced the whole thing.
Well, it forces you to really connect with your higher self, because a lot of people don't know. That's why it kills me that this is still illegal in places, because it's like people don't know, like they did the research and their homework and their education, they would know that humans are born with cannabinoids, like in our brains. You know what I mean? So we have that in our system, and they're specifically there to react to cannabis. Okay, and then also cannabis does not affect the frontal lobe. It doesn't affect it, which is your decision making. Alcohol does. Other like hard drugs like cocaine, heroin, so on and so forth, affect your decision making, your frontal lobe. Studies have been shown cannabis does not affect the frontal lobe, does not affect your decision making at all.
Wow. Damn.
Good to know.
Good knowledge. Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Dr. Hall with the medical information.
Yes. Well, do you have any more slasher films that you'd like to?
Yeah, do you want to know how many you have?
How many I have so far? Oh, there's one called Shocker. Wes Craven's Shocker.
Wes Craven, the god, right?
R.I.P.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see any other slashers. Let me see. So the Shocker.
You've done very well so far, I will say. I'm very
Can you guess how many?
Oh,
I've gotten? Just a number, throw it out there.
30.
Oh, When a Stranger Calls. Yeah, The Stranger Calls. Yep, remember that?
Dude, 30?
I don't know.
He's far exceeded that.
More than 50?
Yeah.
Yo, Gregory Hall.
In the history of this podcast, he has the most. I don't think if anyone's gonna get to this level, and we started late sometimes, like sending the challenge.
It's true.
He like listed them all. Like, I mean, also it helps for the slasher movies that part 1, part 2, part 3. But like he.
Oh yeah, you can add Cry Wolf.
Ooh, good movie. Love that movie.
I don't know if what other categories we give someone else that they're gonna get.
My Bloody Valentine.
I'm never gonna beat this. I'll tell you that. I will never be in the top rating ever again.
Yeah, it's true. Because Gregory Hall had the confidence of Jason, and he was just like, I know there's a challenge, but you're gonna wait for the challenge, and then just like unload it, and just like, wow, congratulations.
I unloaded the clip on y'all.
Listening had any doubts, and they thought he was trying to dance around the challenge or just not get into it yet, whatever. You were sorely mistaken. Like, no, it's like this is you just trampled on every other person that's come on the show.
Yeah, there's Prom Night. I don't know how I forgot that Prom Night. I'm not going to list the sequels because the sequels were not slashers.
Okay. All right. Respect for that.
They're not considered slashers. Not in my eyes, at least.
Okay. What is it about them that makes them less of a slasher movie?
Because it's a completely different storyline. The storyline of that one was about, it's like called Betty Lou's Revenge or something like that. About this, it's like this girl who was like supposed to be like a slut or whatever in the 50s, and she gets killed, but then she comes back for revenge and all that stuff. But yeah, that's what that is. It's not really so much a slasher. The first Prom Night was. Prom Night, When a Stranger Calls, okay. Not a slasher. It's psychological. I was gonna say Silence of the Lambs, but that's more.
No,
that's psychological.
Yeah.
That's psychological. They like to throw Hannibal Lecter and all that in there, but no.
I guess you would never really actually see anybody kill anybody except for
Buffalo
Bill being because they like show him like with like the skin on the mannequins and you know that he's done bad things.
You see the aftermath,
but like the person his target for that whole movie, she doesn't, spoiler for you if you haven't seen Silence of the Lambs, but you should have seen it by now. I don't care if you're 3 years old. Gregory Hall watched Slasher. You can too.
And I watched that movie way too damn young because I watched it and I didn't get it. I didn't get it because see, Silence of the Lambs. See, I wasn't good at the psychological horror. I was like, okay, this is way too long.
That movie got me good.
Where's the blood? Where's the knife?
That movie terrified me.
That
and Dragon. Is that the third one?
Oh, the Red Dragon. Yeah.
That one I was first. Oh my god. Also, it's not slasher, but wait, is it? No, it's not. What I was thinking of.
Communicate me via telepathy. Telepathically. No, can't.
No, I'll write it down and I'll show you, and then you'll. I don't know because he hasn't said this one, but I wouldn't.
No.
Right? No.
No. So sure, The Shining and
The Shining. Yeah,
that's not slasher.
Okay. I'm just making sure because you earlier
you can slash, not be a slasher.
Plus the book is way different than.
That's very true. That's very true. But I was just saying, I saw The Shining when I was young. And that just left a scar. It's like never. Oh my god, pulling the curtains and then the green. I did not like that part. I was afraid of like my bathtub with shower curtain for so long. Like always had to have it open because I was just like, somebody's in there.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like you know that a horror movie was good. I mean, I guess there's a lot of ways to know a horror movie is good. Like if you watch it and you're like that was great, but if like. Time passes after you've seen it and it's nighttime, or is it with Midsummer? It could be nighttime also, or but like
or Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Or Texas Chainsaw too, yeah. But generally, it's like if you saw a movie that was like a very dark, focused, like nighttime horror movie, and then you're like later that night you're scared. That movie did its job. It got you thinking about it way after, and.
Hereditary.
Yeah.
Is like the movie that I that's like the one I'll always pull now because I watched it home by myself. Not a good idea.
I felt.
It was high.
I felt terrible laughing at that movie.
Oh my god!
I'm sorry.
Henry, what? Oh my god!
I'm sorry. I was like,
Jesus.
Yo, she got rocks.
I did. It was so unexpected. It was so unexpected. Did you see it coming?
No, I know.
I thought about it like the split second right before it happened because there was something.
I have another slasher film.
Yeah, what?
The Strangers.
Ooh, good one.
And that is a excellent one.
That is a good one.
Excellent one, because I love when he said, "Why are you doing this?" Because he was like, "Because you were home." I was like,
yeah.
"Well, damn." And I love that because I think that's what made the 2018 Halloween so good. They stripped it down to its bare bones. They're doing too much. Like, for example, they're coming out with a Chucky series. Not a fan of that.
Why?
Because they want to do a backstory. I'm like, there don't need to be no backstory. We don't need all that.
What is Chucky? It's a doll. It's just a possessed doll. Is like Annabelle? Is it like what is Chucky and his girlfriends, girls?
Well, Chucky,
like,
it started out with child's play. He was supposed to be like a serial killer, Charles Lee Ray. He gets shot by a cop, but he knows voodoo, so for him...
Oh, spirit was involved.
Yeah, so what he did was he transferred his soul into the doll.
Got you.
But the longer he stays in the doll, the more human becomes. So...
Oh my God.
So he had the only way...
It's like the Tyra Banks movie, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that movie!
Oh, what a great double feature that
When
would
it's
be.
so different.
Yeah.
That was a slasher, but yes.
So he has to. So whoever he told the secret to is who he can transfer his soul to his body, which is Andy Barkley. So that's why he's going after the boy, because he wants to transfer his soul into his body. But one other
Being a grown man to a small boy. Starting life all over again.
But there's a line in that film that did not age well. Did not age well. So the original Child's Play, he goes to the guy that taught him voodoo and asks him, "How do you fix this? You got me in this mess." Tells him, "You gotta like tell your secret to the first person. The first person told your secret." So he goes, "Oh, I can't believe it. I told it to a 6-year-old boy." He's like, "I'm gonna be 6-year-old again." He goes, "Well, John, gotta go." He's like, "I got a date with a 6-year-old boy." And I was like,
God!
I was like, yeah, that didn't age well at all. Ooh, no, honey boo boo child, no. No.
Yeah, maybe that's what they wanted you to. Like who? Because how did somebody not catch that and be like, hey, let's not say that?
Yeah, I bet that probably was all. They probably knew that would only. I mean, it's serial because it's Chucky who says it, right? Chucky,
I got a date with a 6-year-old.
So he's a serial killer. So like you're like, yep, okay.
So it is creepy, unacceptable.
Definitely creepy. Only gonna get creepier as time goes on. So.
Yeah.
See, they say they probably thought like, oh, he's a doll, but then no, there's a full grown man doing the voice.
Yeah.
And that's like in part 3. The boy is black. He's a black kid, and then Chucky goes, "Oh, just think, Chucky's gonna be a bro." He puts the fist up. And then I remember Freddy versus Jason right before they killed Kelly Rowland from Destiny Child. She was in there. Freddy goes, "Dark meat."
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
I was like, and I remember seeing it in the theaters, and everybody was like, "Oh, come on!" Like, I was like, "Nah."
Yeah. Would you say you are not as much of a fan of like the slashers who like quip and like say funny things before they kill? Like, would you prefer one that is just like all serious and all business, or does it just depend on what you're in the mood for?
It depends what I'm in the mood for. Like, see, Jason is my favorite slasher because we have one thing in common, and that is we're mama's boys. I was mama's boy. You know what I'm saying? So he's mama's boy. But definitely Freddy's one of my favorite because he's funny as hell. I'm sorry. It's like, how can you be scared of that guy? He's hilarious. Yeah. I had a Freddy Krueger doll when I was 6. I used to terrorize my cousin with him all the time. But
that's cute.
I was Freddy. Fun fact: I was Freddy Krueger for Halloween when I was 7, and I was Jason when I was 13.
Nice.
Yeah. So but yeah, I don't know, horror. Like I didn't have a lot on there. There's a lot on there.
Did you say you don't have a lot?
No, I said that is a. But see, here's the thing. That's only slashers. If you was just like horror film, it would be like
that category would be way too big.
I would be.
We had to narrow it down.
It'd be like 3 hours later. Like it was a lot, but yeah, I was like sitting there thinking like I know I missed a couple, but because there's more, but yeah, I think I'm good.
You're the champion.
Right.
I will cap it.
Reena, give him his number.
Your final number is 89.
Holy shit!
89 slasher.
Gregor, just so you know, the previous record before you was, I believe, 48.
40.
So,
yeah.
Like,
this dude's still going. Like,
yeah. So it's we alluded to the people out there who are the big fans of the game part of it. If you are here for the game and the challenge, you got your money's worth today. Gregory Hall came and delivered. Gregory Hall, thank you so much for being on the podcast and dropping some excellent film knowledge and slasher knowledge. This is amazing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. This is probably like the funnest I've had on the podcast. Thank you. Real talk.
Thank you. Every other podcast this will suck.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. Come back. Yeah, come back. We'll have you back.
In the case anyone ever beats your number, we'll notify you.
Oh, yeah.
Your title. It'll be up all the time.
I'm like, yo, you know what? I want a head-up challenge with them now.
That will happen. So we'll have you back down the line to have a head-to-head challenge for sure.
Yes, we are. We're gonna start doing some special podcast episodes with that exactly. Is there any last thoughts you want to plug in, Gregory?
So if you guys want to see content that I've done, you can go over to my production company's YouTube channel, which is Camp Nas. Like I said, NOS, Camp Nas, which is short for Camp Nostalgia. Like I said, but we have a lot of content on there, from podcasts to nerd culture to reviews. I think right now we have a show called Subscribe Reviews, and they are reviewing Loki.
Cool.
So if you guys want to head over there and check it out. Also, right now we are on a little bit on the hiatus of putting out anything new, but we will be coming back sometime in July. I don't have the official date, but we'll be coming back soon. But until then, we still have a lot of content you guys could definitely check out there. You can also follow me on Twitter at Gregory Hall 5000. You follow my IG at Sir Cushington. I have my stand-up on there. I have, also the dates where I'm going to be at. I think my next comedy show, I will be at the Tiny Cupboard July 9th.
Nice.
At 8 o'clock. So, head over there. Should be a good one. And that's it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm just going to do a little plug because speaking of the Tiny Cupboard, they are sponsoring a show July 2nd, this Friday, folks. It's a free event. It's open bar. You have improv, musical theater, and Late Night Hump will be doing interdimensional improv this Friday night in Bushwick. It's a mini fest, people. Also, next Friday, we're back at Players Theater in New York City, 9:30. That's July 11th.
Mm-hmm. July 9th. So
July 9th.
So go see Gregory Hall, and then after you're done seeing him kill, then
check
swing
us
over
out.
to Players Theater and come drink champagne with us and watch us do some spacey, very intergalactic, weird improv comedy. And
stay tuned as always to upcoming podcast episodes and another film coming your way. It's in post-production. Mm-hmm. I know we keep teasing for it, but we swear we're working on it.
As horror and specifically Slash have told us, the tease makes the payoff that much better. So, thank you, Gregory Hall, and thank you for everyone listening out there.
Thank you.